You're listening to Your Daily Dungeon, a Dungeons & Dragons podcast by Your Daily Nerd.
Hey. Looks at Eric to shut the hell up. Welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for listening. And we're proud to bring you episode 13 of Curse of Strahd, proudly presented by Your Daily Nerd. This is a Your Daily Dungeon podcast. I'm sure you actually already know that. You clicked on the button. It's late. We're recording late. Don't judge me. Enjoy the show.
It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it's not that late. 8 o'clock's my bedtime, actually. Thank you very much.
I've been up since 3 a.m.
And I'm sure you went both ways uphill to get there. So, moving on.
Back in
the
my
snow.
day, we used to make
off.
D20s out of stone. Anyway.
I think you have to talk to Matthew Mercer about that. He's the one that invented them, apparently. According to Dylan.
What?
Dice?
Yep.
Oh, did y'all see that Matthew Mercer's now like an official character in the D&D universe?
Adam, I told you that. Shut up. Okay, so moving on.
Okay. I was talking to our viewers, not you. Thank you.
Anyway.
Sips tea.
Let's go.
Sorry, sips Diet Coke. So, you find yourselves running to the edge of the village of Barovia, traveling south along the road. Strahd's maniacal laughter rippling through the clouds. Just to have a quick recap for our listeners and adventurers, the party left the church of Barovia in the village of Barovia, where they left the burgomaster and his son at the funeral of the burgomaster because Strahd showed up in an attempt to intimidate and steal Irina. They kind of just decided that they really didn't want to fight that when they saw probably about a 300-pound lizard get shoved through a stone wall. Is that right? Does that sum it up?
I mean, I tried to fight it, but he stole my lightning.
Yeah, we were.
I wasn't about that.
I think the only person who was
that's
trying to fight
when I said
was
no.
Juan.
Yeah, I weigh about I'm not even gonna do the math, but I weigh a lot less than that, so I wasn't about that.
So, you travel yourselves to the edge of town, heading south along the road. And as you are running along the road, you see that the rain from the storm that's forming overhead begins to come down really intensely. You hear the sounds of what can only be hooves clattering across the pavement, splashing through the mud that's built up on the cobblestone road. It sounds like horses are chasing you guys down.
Oh shit!
Oh, shit.
Okay.
I look back while still running.
The rain has reduced your visibility down to only 10 feet.
Okay.
Oh.
I keep running.
I heard, I guess that's a very unsettling thought, Dylan. So,
Yeah, a little
you make your way southwest along the road outside of the village, where you come across what must be a river at the bottom of the clearing. You guys run for a long ways, and it seems like the hooves never really catch up to you. Let's see. If you were running, it's about it's about 3/4 of a mile city of a run or so, if that makes any sense. Not too far. It's less than a mile's run. You come to a river that runs through the bottom of this open valley as you're running down Old Zvalek Road. You come to a bridge with the river flowing as clear as a blue winter sky through this valley. You see the rain is pelting the river heavily, and it looks like it's rushing intensely. The river is about 50 feet wide, with a depth probably about 5 to 10 feet from what you guys can tell at a glance. So Djo's not going to be able to cross that by swimming. There is a bridge. You see arching stone bridges span the river at 2 points. You see 2 bridges then.
Okay.
One near the village of Barovia by you guys, and I think, Eric, are you the one that studied the actual topography of Barovia when you were in Death House?
Yes.
I think it was you, yeah. So you would bridge farther up the road here along the way.
All right.
You would also know that there's 2 options you have. You can either follow the river, which will take you off the main path and probably out of common travelers and probably keep you from being stalked. And then there's just following the main road, which might be the easiest way as far as like travel goes and travel time. But you're taking Arena to Valaki, which is quite a ways away from here. It's probably like a week's journey from Barovia. I could probably count the individual tiles to give you an idea, but I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's probably about 50, 60, 70 miles, anywhere from there.
Damn, girl.
And that's by the main road getting there.
No, it'd probably take you a little bit longer on the main road, but you run the risk of not only random encounters, but Strahd following you.
Gotcha.
On the main road.
And nobody wants that.
Yeah, let's not do main road.
It's up to you. I'm not really telling you this one option better than the other.
Yeah, Kyle, you should add some nice rain effects in the background here.
Don't tell me how to do my job.
He'll do it in post.
He's not telling you. He's highly suggesting.
I'm highly suggesting.
Don't tell
Anyway,
me. Don't highly suggest how to do my job.
So, you hear the sounds of the hoof prints come to a stop behind you guys, and you hear the sounds of a neigh, like a horse neighing. You turn, you look back, and you see Strahd seated upon a massive black stallion with a flaming mane and flaming hooves, and what looks to be like hot as embered eyes staring back at you. The horse whinnies again, and you see flames spread out its nostrils.
Who's
Shit.
standing next to me out of curiosity, or do we like know that?
It's probably just an amalgam of the group in one big pile around the front end of this bridge, trying to decide which way they want to go.
I just kind of like whisper over to whoever's standing closest to me. Someone's a little over the top.
I'm gonna whisper back. Did you see the way he stole my lightning? Come on, man. Of course.
I'm silently questioning how what can hear me.
You notice that all the rain that is falling down and soaking you guys is basically hitting Strahd and rolling off of him, and he's not wet.
Show off.
Okay. What should I do?
You do see the steam. You do see the water horse's mane, and it steams off of the horse.
Like, what is Strahd doing? Like, what's his facial expression? Like, does he look like cocky or like what?
Yeah, so he looks pretty smug as he looks down at you from the top of his horse. He has an eyebrow arched on the right side of his face, and he's got a wry grin across it, as you see his lips split into an eerie grin as he says, "Well, adventurers, here's your opportunity to bask in the glow that is me. If you drop to a knee now and admire me in all of my splendorous nobility, I will let you leave Barovia and wander my lands with whatever remains of your pitiful lives. But give me Irina."
So, I think I think Irina is like gripping her sword at the her rapier at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Mel walks up and just like, yeah, see, that's not gonna work.
Teacher's like, yeah, that ain't gonna work.
You see him kind of shake his head back and forth and go, "No, we can't have any of that." You see him dismount his horse, and he turns, and he kind of puts his left hand on the hilt of his sword. Mind you, you've seen Strahd draw his blade. He is right-handed, so he's not cross-drawing. He puts the hand on his left side of his hilt, kind of just to show you that he's got his sword on him. And he paces forward, and Mel, you're at the front end of the group, closer to the bridge, while Strahd's closer to the village. And Strahd walks towards the group, and it looks like he's bent on walking through the group to talk to Mel. Anybody stand aside for Strahd, or do you guys stand in his way?
I stand in his way.
Oh god.
Or I don't necessarily like get in his way. I don't move. I don't.
Same.
Yeah.
That's the deal. I'm not like blocking him or anything.
He strides forward and he looks at you two, and he looks over at Mel and he says, "I would suggest you tell them that I have some words for you, and the intimacy of being only a few inches from your face seems the only necessary way to speak them."
Well, you see, I don't know. I don't know how much you know about me, but my uncle always told me when you're talking to a vampire, make sure you're about 3 feet away. Just seems like the safest bet.
He looks down at Dijo, and he chuckles and he reaches forward to ruffle your hair, Dijo.
I like instinctively like swat his hand away.
So you go to swat, pulls his hand back, and he looks at it and goes like, "You dare?" And 24 to hit.
Shit, that hits.
Yeah, he
Fuck
backhand.
that.
He kind of looks at the back of his hand and goes like, "You ever seen this before?" And he slaps you across the backside of your face with his hand. Deidre, he knocks you to your knees. He looks at Watt and he says, "Do you remember how I caught that lightning? Stand aside."
Okay, I am going to step to the side, but I'm also going to cast Calm Emotions.
Okay.
Like on
that
everyone-
laugh is all that we needed to
Yeah,
hear to know how
exactly.
this is gonna go.
Like in the radius of just everyone here trying to cast it on the entire group.
Okay.
Well, mostly Strahd, but
Yeah, he rolled over a 20, so he doesn't
God
care.
damn it. Of course.
Yes, okay.
So we're all like just super mellow and chill now.
I
Nah,
don't know if Deidre's mellowed. He just got pimp slapped.
Well, technically with the spell, if we see a friend get hurt, we're no longer calm, so we would not be calm.
So what you're telling me is you wasted a spell
That's
slot.
insinuating we like him.
I attempted
Well,
to calm Strahd down, and it didn't work, is what happened there.
Well, I think he used it after I got hurt, though, right?
Mhm.
Oh, true. Yeah.
So
Even still, Strahd doesn't care. He's not agitated.
Okay, he does he even notice that the spell was cast?
Yeah, it has somatic components. You waved your hands around in the air like a jackass, and Strahd cocks an eyebrow at you. And he's like, "Do you want to die again?"
Honestly, we're not a big fan of him at this point. You can have him. He's kind of put it.
hey, look,
Strahd looks at you, Amnon, and his eyes glow red. Give me a wisdom save.
Ah, fantastic. That is a 14.
You fail. He looks at you, and you feel your body go stiff for a second, and you feel compelled to follow Strahd's orders. At this time, Zarbdok's like, "Oh, you little pussy. Roll a Constitution save as Zarbdok attempts to hostily take over your body."
That is a 21.
All right. Zarbdok does not take over your body. Strahd's will and Amnon's will are currently stronger. Or not will, but you don't go into convulsions. Good for you. Or bad for you, really. I guess it depends on how things go from here.
I guess
Strahd
it
looks at you.
probably would have been
Yeah.
better if Zarbdok was in control.
Yeah. He looks at you, Amnon, and he says, "Why don't you escort your friend over to the side of the river?"
which friend?
He motions at Dijo.
Come on, DJ. We gotta get out of his way.
Let me ask you, Ian. Would Irina know that, like, if we tried to fight Strahd, we would pretty much die?
Instantly, yes.
Okay. So imagine she's probably standing right by me.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's just like, I think she's gonna like, I don't know. Fuck.
Irina would probably have spent some time studying vampires and the weaknesses. Have her go ahead and roll an intelligence check
Oh, that's good. Let's see.
at advantage.
At advantage. All right. No pluses to
My
this.
favorite words.
Okay, well that's a 3. And that's an 8. So 8.
Irina gets an idea that something about where you are is actually a good deterrent to Strahd, but she can't quite put it on the thumb what it is.
What sucks is I know.
I also know, but I must do his bidding. Amnon's gonna reach out to try to kind of like grab Dijo by the arm to like pull him out of the way.
Dijo, give me a perception check to see if he knows anything off about.
Okay.
Oh, an investigation. Sorry, you can roll investigation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's even better. Let me see. That's 25 total.
You see that Amnon is under some kind of mind control. He's all glassy-eyed and he seems stiff, and his request wasn't sarcastic, and it didn't sound like he was disappointed in you somehow.
Oh.
So
now you know something's up.
all right, I don't let him grab me. I try not to let him grab me, but I do get up to move.
All right. As long as he moves that direction, Amnon, you don't feel compelled to be forceful with him.
Okay.
But I don't get too close to the river.
All right. So Strahd is going to step past Watt after hearing Amnon make that declaration, and it looks like Watt's not going to attempt to stop him.
Nah, he stole my lightning and just shrugged off my spell. I'm just kind of like, I'm at the ready in case he attacks, but
I don't know if Irina would try to maybe vocalize that something feels like they should do something. I don't know. I feel like Irina would probably have a good idea to at least mention that something, that there is a reason Strahd's stopping you here. Does Nork or
Let me
did
see.
Nork or Mel say anything?
You know what? You know what? I think Irina, to not set off Strahd, she would whisper something in my ear. I think she would whisper something along the lines of, like, maybe it's like someone's not right here. Like, why would it? Doesn't make sense that he would stop us here, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mel can roll an intelligence check after that.
that's what I wanted. Oh, so metagame. Can I roll an investigation? Or just
No, and it's just flat intelligence.
16. Or no, yeah.
You would know that vampires can't cross running water. You don't know why, but you know that they can't.
So he's not on the bridge.
No, neither of you guys at this.
Okay. So this is what I do. Is how close is Strahd to me?
He's about 10 feet. He's walking. Attempts to get in his way.
I turn around and I just like grab Irina by the arm and just start running across the bridge.
You see him look at you, and he chuckles and he says, "Really? The bridge?" You see him draw his sword, and he spins it so that it's in his left hand forward. You see him kind of look up and say, "Thank you, Watt, for this." You see him flick his wrist, and a bolt of lightning crashes down on the bridge, shattering the centerpiece of it. About a 10-foot section falls away.
You can make the jump.
Watt is also just kind of follow them as they take off running.
Yeah, so you run straight past Strahd as he taunts you with your own spell.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it, but like, Ain't shit I can do right now. I'm just running.
Yeah, DJ starts running as well.
Amnon, DJ is doing something against your illicit instructions.
Can I give some kind of will save to try to snap out of it, or?
Not until somebody either attacks you or you take damage.
Fantastic. But I don't think Amnon wouldn't necessarily know that, huh?
Zarbdock would. Zarbdock's not under. I guess you can give me another Constitution. Yeah, Constitution.
That would be a natural 1, my friend.
So
Now-
Zarbdock's tired of this backseat driving shit, and he takes over. Your eyes change to the appropriate color, and you convulse for a few seconds. I don't know if Zarbdock has a different voice or not, but he is now in control. Strahd loses control over the body, but Amnon's still under control mentally.
Okay, I haven't started running yet. Am I close enough to him to have noticed that?
Yeah, you see Amnon goes to grab DJ, and he jerks and convulses for a second, and you see his eyes change color before he kind of shakes his head.
Amnon's normal eye color is kind of a yellow, but since with Zarbdock taking over the body, they turn over into a white color.
Ooh.
But it is in fact different from how they looked glossed over.
Yes.
I'm gonna take that opportunity to run up to him and
Run up and do what? I didn't think this through.
Well, no, I'm debating on if I want to make physical. We've met Zarbdock once, and we didn't even know it was Zarbdock.
I don't think you guys have never met him.
Okay, yeah.
You know he exists. I don't think you've ever.
I'm trying to make this as not meta of a decision as possible.
All right, so I snap out of it, and I obviously Davros and I are still must be still fairly close to Strahd, right?
Hey, who are we? You know who we are? Are you you?
Yes, I blink a few times, and then I was just like, we have to go now, and just take off running with the others.
You hear
Good enough of
Amnon.
an answer for me.
You hear Amnon in your head. Wee! He does not like that at all.
Yeah, it's basically like an out of body experience, but still through your own eyes. It's weird.
You basically dissociate so hard that you observe your own conversations.
Exactly.
Oof. So Mel, you make it to the precipice. You're in a dead run. So you want to go ahead and make that jump check, or are you just gonna stop, or what are you gonna do? Not jump check. This isn't 3.5. Acrobatics.
So I think actually what happens is Mel might hesitate, but Irina doesn't, and I'm holding her. So here's the thing. She sees me about to hesitate, and then she just pushes me, and then it gets to the point where I'm just like, oh, okay, this is happening, and I just go for the jump.
All right. So I was gonna give you advantage because you're dead sprinting, but you hesitate, so you don't get the advantage. Just make the jump.
I think Mel would hesitate. It just makes sense.
Yeah. Go ahead. And give yourself an inspiration die. I feel like I like the choice of staying in character there.
Oh, awesome. 13.
Yeah, you clear it. You make it about 3 feet over the other side.
Cool. And then I'll make one for Irina.
She may do so at advantage.
Oh God! Please roll better than that. Nat 20. 23. I rolled a 3, and I was like, oh God.
Rolls a 2.
So, Irina makes the leap, and she lands on the other after doing a somersault in the air. And she sees you, Mel. You go, no. You back up, take a 2-step running jump and leap, barely make it to the other side and land on your fucking chest. Like you hit the ground with your legs, but you fall.
All right.
There's nothing graceful and wizard about it. You're just a normal. You're the average unathletic person making a jump that's too far for them.
Irina has to like stop her stride and come back and help me up.
Watt's running along with y'all, so he's just gonna make that jump whenever he runs up to it.
Same with DJ.
As with Zarbok.
Yeah, I full sprinting jump that bridge.
Yeah, as long as you're in a full sprint, you may roll check it.
Cool. 20 total.
What kind of a check is this, Ian?
Acrobatics or athletics, depending on whichever you prefer.
I rolled a 14.
21.
Alrighty. As long as you roll higher than 10, you're good.
17.
Really just a 10. What does Norik roll?
16.
Okay. DJ, as you make the jump, since you're the last in the train, since you were farthest away. Actually, no. You started running before everyone else did, huh? Because Amnon would be behind you.
Yep.
So it is actually Amnon's probably the back of the train. Amnon, you go to jump, and you feel a hand whisk around your tail and attempt to grab you. Give me a counter acrobatics check.
That is a 10.
Amnon, you make a leap, and Strahd grabs you by the tail as you're hanging.
Ow, 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 ow. That hurts, that hurts, that hurts. Actually, Zarbok's still in control, so it's more
Cut
like,
it off.
ow, 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 that hurts, that hurts.
Strahd looks at you. He's kind of grabbed you closer to your actual ass as opposed to like the top of the tail.
Still
I
hurts.
see what he's into.
Yeah. Strahd looks at Amnon and he says, "Do you know how to swim?" You look down at the raging river beneath you. It's about a 30-foot drop into water.
What does Zarbok say?
I don't know. Do you? And I try to pull him into the river with me.
I guess you can make a grapple check at disadvantage to see you try to actually like lean up as you're suspended by gravity to grab somebody and pull them with you.
If you manage to do this, that'd be impressive.
What do I add to it?
It's just a grapple check, so just your strength.
All right. So with it, if I didn't have disadvantage, it would have been a natural 20. But because of disadvantage, that's a 12.
All right. You reach up to grab him, and he goes, "Oh, don't touch me!" You see him pull out a dagger. He says, "Here, I'll go into this. You don't need it anymore." And he cuts the ass into your tail off and drops you into the water. You take a point of damage.
Jesus.
But I'm also missing my fucking tail now.
Weren't you missing a horn in the last campaign?
Hey, shut up.
Or was it this one?
He doesn't cut the whole tail off. He cuts just the spade of it off, or whatever it is you have for tail tip. Was it a spaded tail?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just cut. He cuts the spade off, and he looks at it with some interest. And you see him kind of like take it, and he slides it into his breast pocket as you're falling into the water beneath you.
Can I try something like stupid real quick before I fall into the water?
Sure.
If I cast spider climb on myself and tried to grab onto like a part of the bridge, would that work? Help me at all in the situation?
You can surely attempt to do so. He had you suspended pretty cleanly over the gap, so it'll be difficult.
It's worth it. I'm gonna give it a shot.
Go ahead and give me an acrobatics check to like spin around to grab something. All you gotta do is put a hand on the surface. So that's how spider climb works.
Just acrobatics.
Yep.
That is a 19 plus 1. That is a 20.
All right, yeah, you're able to do so.
Ah.
You're hanging beneath straw stones. You're barely suspended, but you got one hand on the surface. You're basically like Spider-Man with one hand hanging up there, and you got your fingers kind of like pressed to the like tips to the rock, but not your palm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Strahd, like, you see Strahd glance over briefly, and he doesn't see that you fell, and he's like, oh, well. And he walks away.
No. It's like, oh, it's probably not. Whatever.
I'm just going. Zarbok is just gonna hang there for a second, and then I'm going to pull myself up and then jump over.
Now I'm gonna like before he climbs up, I'm gonna like try to get his attention and like. Well, no. Would he see me as I try to
Everybody roll a perception check. You probably would have seen Amnon get grabbed. But let's see how many of you didn't see Amnon save himself.
Hey,
Oh, fair.
20.
5, my dude.
I rolled
5.
I rolled an 8, so
16.
What did Irina roll?
Irina rolled a 15.
Okay. So, Dejo, Irina, Watts, what did Nork roll?
Too busy reveling in how cool he looked jumping over that gap.
Look, I reamed out. See Amnon struggling to pull himself up as he climbs back up. Everybody else is still moving down the end of the bridge, thankful to have separated themselves from Strahd for even a little bit.
Okay.
I feel like Walt would have turned back to make sure everyone else made it.
Mm-hmm.
I think
So,
Irina
He's
was-
just eyeballing Amnon the whole time. With his, like, half tail now.
No, just the tip of his tail got cut off.
Okay, the tip of his tail. Okay. Regardless.
So a dog walks up behind you.
Oh, shit. I quit looking at Amnon and look at the dog.
Yeah, my focus is 100% on that.
I'm just kidding. There's no dog. So
Aw.
Sad.
Do y'all hear him?
Yeah,
a little bit.
Oh, very little bit.
Yeah, he's in my brother's room, so.
What an ass. So, you guys see Amnon pull himself up to the other side, and Amnon, what do you do? Do you like? Oh, not Amnon, Zarbak. What do you do? Do you kind of like rolled onto your back and like a sigh of exasperation and relief because you didn't plummet into the raging waters, or you just kind of stand up and go like, okay, how the fuck am I getting across now?
Yeah, I just kind of pull myself up, and I'm laying on my back, and I having a slight panic attack because it's been a long time since Zarbok has been in control of a body, and let alone have the tip of your tail cut off, and then catch yourself basically just by the tips of your fingers. So,
Question: If he were to bring the severed part of his tail, could I reattach it with a spell?
It's on Strahd.
Oh, Strahd kept it.
Yeah,
Damn.
he put it in his pocket.
Rip.
Well, that's not happening.
No, not ripped tear. He sliced through it.
I just gotta look over. What?
Oh.
Do you have mending? Will mending fix this?
I mean, we can try.
There's no spade. He doesn't have the spade.
Well, we'll get you a new tip.
Can we get
Just the tip.
Can we find a dwarf to make me a metal one and get that attached? Because that'd be kind of metal.
Hey, I can make you a stuffed one.
Shut up.
A
Joe.
stuffed one.
All right, and then do we say that I pulled myself up on the village side or the not village side of the bridge?
On the village.
All right, so I'm just going to stand up, try to look like I didn't just have a panic attack, and then jump across.
Okay. Do you check to see if Strahd's standing behind you?
Nope. Nope, just running as fast as I can.
All right. Let's see here. 15 to grapple. I'm kidding.
Grabs the tail again, cuts more of it off.
I actually just rolled a 19, so that would have been... All right.
Except you do roll counter grapples when you do grapple checks. So
Nope.
so you make it across this time. You land on the opposite side of the road. And what did Irina say? Kept on trying to walk
Wait, what? What did Irina say? What?
to Mel because he didn't. He and Nora kept just walking.
I think Irina probably would have just gone back to try to help.
Okay.
She wouldn't have like thought twice about it.
Yeah, Melanor probably would have noticed at some point that no one was following.
Yeah.
When you guys turn to see what's going on, Amnon finally jump across the bridge, and he kind of stops and like you see him grab his tail and he holds it up to Watt, and Watt shakes his head like I can't do anything about that. I need more tail.
I'm like, I can stop the bleeding, but that's about it.
You don't need a tail, do you?
It's gonna throw off my balance.
Well, we'll find you something else to tie to the end, like some kind of cool looking blade.
Dijo, do you have any extra arrows?
Sure. I hand an arrow.
Can we snap off the arrowhead and tie that to the end?
I mean, sure, yeah. Go ahead.
Davros steps up. Wait. Walt was on to something. We should definitely tie like a dagger to your tail.
So, as you guys are sitting here talking about what to do with Amnon's tail, you notice that the rain has kind of started to subside some, and the heat of the afternoon has subsided to nighttime. You see that darkness is starting to creep in around you, and you notice that there's no light on the roads at all. What would be sunset is now upon you.
I look back. Is Strahd still behind us?
Yeah, he's kind of sitting on the other side of the bridge on top of his horse. You see him kind of like holding up Amnon's spade, and you see him kind of like look at it and kind of like wave at you with it before turning around on his horse.
While he waves it, Mel just flips him the bird.
I feel like the whole party should flip him off while he's doing that.
Well, here's how I think that. Mel flips him the bird, and then Irina looks over and sees that, and she just like swats his hand down and just like, oh, damn it.
Because Irina knows. Fucking idea.
Yeah. So you know. But yeah. And then I'm just gonna be like, Davros, keep an eye out for a good campsite, some kind of hidden off.
Davros nods and I just kind of walk off ahead into the forest to start looking.
I'm gonna go help him. How far away are we from that village that we were trying to escape to?
You're on the other side of the country.
Oh, yeah,
we're a good ways
that's
away.
right. We're like a week's walk away. So yeah, we need a campsite.
Irina would probably know about the Vistani camp that's down the river.
So she pipes up about that. She's like, I know about a Vistani camp, just down the river over there. And
is it close enough for us to make it to tonight?
Yeah, it's probably only about, let's see here. If you were to just leave the road and travel along the river, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's about 2 miles away, which is not a very super far walk. Well, you could probably walk, 2 miles in an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could walk 5 miles, I think, is the average human walking pace of, like, steady walking.
Make it 2 miles in about half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roughly. The tough part is that it's on the other side of the river where you guys came from.
Is there another bridge along the way there?
Very, very, very is what Mel would probably tell you.
yeah, very, very what the GMs. Because you cut out, so I didn't hear it.
Well, I mean, I guess we don't really have much of another choice, do we?
Not really. And I go to rustle Dijo's hair and cast a light spell on his hair.
Yes, good idea. Cast light on our rogue's hair.
Hey, I can't see. It's too dark.
Dijo just lets it happen.
I looked to Irina. Right? It's too dark. It's just, yeah, I mean, it's kind of dark.
Hey, Dijo says to Mel, "Hey, why don't you cast light on Amnon's tail?"
I think Amnon's been through enough.
Zarbdok shoots Jijo the dirtiest look.
I'm gonna put my hand on Mel's. Watt's gonna just put his hand on Mel's shoulder and he's be like, "It's okay. Maybe one day you'll have dark vision like the rest of us."
Zarbdok, Amnon's still underneath the control of Strahd's spell, and you keep on saying, "Yeah, we should cross the river, but over at the bridge."
Yeah. Okay. Let's go.
Every about 5 minutes or so, Amnon's come back to Barovia yet?
So, like, we would at this point know that he's cursed.
No, he's not cursed. He's
Or-
just he's underneath a very strong trauma spell.
So just so it's clear, Ian's kind of keeping his distance from Amnon right now.
Ian.
Did I say Ian? I meant Dijo.
Well, I mean, like, basically, what Ian is saying is, like, so Zarbdok is still in control of the body. Amnon on the inside is talking to Zarbdok, saying, "Hey, we should go back to Barovia."
Oh yeah, I know. But Dijo doesn't. Dijo of course doesn't know that though.
I don't think I saw him get that spell casted on him, did I?
No, I think what was it? Dijo knows that Amnon's underneath the spell, and Davros knows.
I'm gonna like. We would notice that his eyes are still Zarbdok colored, right?
This is probably the first time we've actually encountered Zarbdok in person.
Yeah. Watt's curious. He's like, so. Is this that Zarbdok thing that's inside you? Like talking to. Assuming that he's still talking to Amnon.
That Zarbdok thing.
The great demon, right?
Fiend.
Fiend, that's right.
Zarbdok like looks at you as if like this guy's got to be like fucking joking, right? He's never heard of me. Like we've been traveling together all this time. He like, did you think that Amnon was pulling your fucking leg or something?
I just didn't think he could fully take over the body.
As if he's not speaking to him.
Exactly.
He's using third-person pronouns on somebody who's right there.
Yeah, Watt totally thinks he's still talking to Amnon.
Zarbdok like opens his mouth, like has something that he's gonna say, and points his finger, and then he closes his mouth. So thinks to himself, "Nope, there's better times for this," and then just kind of walks away.
So at this time, you guys travel along the river following it, or do you want to take the road?
I guess whichever way is quicker. I guess probably going along the river would probably be better.
Along the river.
I think Mel would kind of know because he.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, Mel. I think that you have a map of Barovia. If not, I can send you one. I actually think Mel took a map of the city. I mean, of the country from the house, right?
I did.
Yeah. So,
let me see if it's on my character sheet. I think so. Oh, I have a hag's finger. Okay. When you haven't played in a while and you forget what items you have.
Pretty sure you got that from the Death House.
I just shot. But in addition to that, I shot you a zoom location of where you guys are, which is D, and you're traveling along that river north. The river kind of winds throughout the entire country. You'll see.
We're at D.
Yeah, you're at the lower D, where it's marked Ilvis River. Ivlis, sorry.
So we're on the other side of the.
You're on the southern side of the wall. Back across. Amnon, you know that the road itself crosses with the bridge again pretty quickly, but the thinnest and easiest part to cross the river is actually close to the camp.
You mean Mel?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Like, could I be like looking at the map over his shoulder? And
Yeah.
just like be like, so do we want to just try to get to the camp over here? Like, just cross the river once we get there? Like talking to Mel, trying to plan this out.
I just look over my shoulder, like, no one likes a backseat driver.
I'm like, all right, it's fine.
But
Walks away like,
so yeah, okay, so we're gonna just cross the river whenever we get close to the camp, guys. All right, my idea.
Walk's just like, great idea. Wish I had thought of it.
Wait, what? Didn't you actually think of that?
I'm about
okay.
to backhand someone.
I start leading the way to this camp with Irina there next to me, so that way she can help me kind of navigate.
Okay, hang on, let me.
Zarbok follows close behind.
Ian, I have a question.
I hope I have an answer.
So at this point, since Watt kind of confronted Zarbdok, would everyone know that it's Zarbdok the Fiend now that's taken over the body as opposed
Yes.
to Amnon? Okay, so that's common knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna walk up to Mel while we're walking, and I'm assuming Zarbdok's pretty far away, right? He said
Yeah.
he's in the back.
I'm following close behind Mel because Zarbok really the only person that he really trusts is Mel.
Okay.
Aww.
Don't flatter yourself. He's the only one that he feels confident that you're actually competent with what you're doing.
Especially after that conversation with Watt just now.
Oh,
You
hey,
should-
just for anybody who's listening to the podcast goes, as far as like the whole Amnon Zarbdok thing, Zarbdok is I'm playing a Hexblade Warlock. Zarbdok is my patron. Just for anybody who's curious as to, like, what the fuck is going on right now.
And if you didn't guess that,
But DJ's gonna go up to Mel and say and try to whisper. And is Zarbdok paying attention? Does it look like Zarbdok's paying attention to what I'm saying?
Zarbdok is not interested at all in what you have to say.
Okay, so
Jeez.
that's what I was hoping.
This
DJ goes up to
insane.
Mel and he just kind of quietly tells Mel, it's like, hey, I think Amnon is under some sort of spell. Whenever he, was gonna bring me over to the river, I think he's under a spell from Strahd. I tell Mel that.
okay. So Mel's like looking at the map, trying to like navigate. He just comes up behind him, whispers that to him. He's like, "Okay, yeah, I noticed the eyes, but at the moment, he's not. I don't know what's wrong with him, but I think that voice inside of his head kind of took over. I think we're okay for right now. I'm keeping an eye on him. Don't worry.
Yeah. So
Stop.
I just.
Not a whole lot I can do about it at the moment.
Yeah, I know. I just let's watch out for if he does anything. I don't know if he's still under the spell or anything, but
Yeah, keep an eye on him for me.
yeah. So I just want to let you know. All right, and then DJ goes back to what he was doing, which is probably staring off at everything.
Yeah. So just keep navigating, Ian.
All right.
So,
So you guys travel along the road for about an hour and a half in the directions that Mel are taking you. Mel, give me a survival check.
Oh God.
At advantage, you have a map.
Yes. All right.
Do you really want him to fail?
17. Oh wait, were you talking to everyone or just Mel?
No, just Mel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a 17.
16.
And that's a 17.
See, it's basically the same thing.
I rolled a 17.
Okay, yeah, Mel, you're able to take you guys there without really much of an issue at all. With the map, it's pretty easy to follow the signs and things like that. And once you get off the road, I mean, you're just following a river. It's really easy to follow, even at nighttime. About an hour and a half into your journey, you come across what looks to be like a very small clearing that runs along the side. And it's probably about 7 p.m.-ish at night. And you guys see along the road what looks to be like 10 to 12 bodies piled around the riverside. The armor looks to be rusted and aged. And you see battle standards flying in the damp from the rain a few hours ago. And you see several ravens picking at the dead bodies.
Dijo is going to do an investigation. He's going to investigate and see if he can find out how long these have been here, and maybe try to figure out try to piece together what happened.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
So I rolled a 20 total.
Okay, so you crouch down and kind of look at the premise and start scouting around. You guys let Dijo do his thing, or would you just kind of dismiss what he's doing and just move along?
Nah, I mean, it's like a big pile of dead bodies. They look like what, soldiers?
It's not a pile. They're kind of strewn about the small clearing. It looks like a fight happened here.
I'm gonna like go and just start checking, see if anyone else is alive.
Oh, okay. So Dijo, you start walking out and starting getting things, and sorry. Watch just kind of bumble around behind you and start like walking about us. Hey, you okay? Am I getting it wrong?
Nah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
He just kind of looks at Watt for a second and then continues doing what he's doing.
Alrighty. Dijo, after a while you kind of determine that these dead bodies are no longer inhabited by anything other than bones. The armor is cracked and riddled and old. And some of the bodies have arrows. Looks like they have obvious weapon wounds in the armor. The standards bear what looks to be like a silver dragon or a Boris.
Okay.
Norik, you would recognize on the hilt of your sword, it has the same Ouroboros. The nice sword you got from.
Yeah.
Do you think I could do like did somebody already do a history check to see like what where that came from or whatever or anything like that?
I believe Mel read into the history and lore of Barovia some in the house.
I did.
Yeah, you want to go ahead and give me a history check at advantage? You specifically read about that.
Yeah, history check.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that wasn't good. All right, same roll. Great.
You can also have Irina as well. She would be familiar with this to an extent.
Okay, so Mel rolled a 13.
Mm-hmm.
Irina rolled a 16, of course.
Okay. So Mel would just know that they're the Order of the Silver Dragon. And you would know the scabbard was made of the dragon's scales. And Irina would disseminate the similar information, but go into that very typically when you see battlefields like this, revenants, undead warriors of the Order, are lurking about. They are not allies of Strahd. That does not make them your they are not your enemy, and they're not the ally of Strahd, but that does not mean that they won't fight you. They're basically hell-bent on revenge.
I imagine this to be like a cinematic moment where we're all like investigating and she recognizes that and she goes into a monologue explaining this like history of the Order of the Silver Dragons. And we're all just kind of like listening to it. Just imagine that happening.
Yeah, it's a pretty detailed explanation. As Dijo is kind of examining the area, Dijo, you come across a body. that has a trinket tied around its shoulder, and you see a beautiful silver dragon ornament. Looks to be made of some kind of metal tied to the pauldron of the armor. When you look at it, it looks to be made of genuine silver upon first glance. Do you interact with it, or you leave it be?
I'm going to. I want to touch it, but I don't want to touch it.
Do you touch it?
I don't know.
It's never good when the DM says, "Do you touch
Do
it?"
you want
DJ's going to just examine it closely.
The closer you like lean to it, and then the closer your hand gets to possibly touching it, you kind of feel that it resonates a cold energy to it, as if it's discernibly more chill in the area around the pendant.
Oh my god, I want to touch it so bad.
Ian, Mel.
No, Dijo does not touch it. He doesn't touch it.
Okay, what's Mel doing?
Mel sits down and he crosses his legs and he starts casting a spell. It's gonna take him a minute. Starts
Okay.
casting a ritual.
What ritual?
Detect magic.
It's a 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes. For the next 10 minutes, I'll be casting a spell.
Yeah, that's probably the amount of time that I'm explaining to you guys some of the lore about these silver dragons. She mentions the name Argynvost a couple times. That's the dragon that led them. And in addition to that, you guys would all know silver dragons are typically good. And they typically worship Bahamut. So this order being in the state that it's in inside Barovia, it looks to be non-existent anymore. Indicates to you Strahd's power. If he took down an entire silver dragon and its order, that's very, very not good. In addition to that, you would finish casting Detect Magic by the time this and Deidre's like over there looking at the pendant. Mel, you get a very, very magical aura from the pendant, as if though a lingering spell on it died many, many years ago, but the essence of the spell still exists. It looks like the... Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, well, could I tell the school of magic?
Let's see here. Is it Abjuration is the spell where you cast defensive spells?
Yes.
Yeah, it's an Abjuration.
Okay. So I see cast a spell, and I see I think I see Dijo staring at it. Like while I'm casting spell, he's like staring at it, examining it. He's like, I don't he like throws his hands up, it's like I'm not gonna touch it. And then he like walks back over there and he like stares at it some more and he's like, and Mel just goes over there. He just picks it up.
I'm like, what the fuck, Mel? What?
It's absolutely freezing to the touch, as though if you hold it for too long in one hand, it'll freeze to your skin. And you can feel the. It's about like maybe like a few inches off of it. Even through your gloved hand, if you have gloves on, it feels like it's freezing your skin.
I hold it for like a couple of seconds to examine it, and then I just toss it to DJ.
After
Dijo catches it.
Dijo, you catch it. Are you wearing gloves, Dijo?
No.
Okay, it's the similar effect, Dijo. It's like scalding your hand with the cold initially. You kind of have to bounce it between hands to hold it for a little bit, but after a moment, it's been raining for a long time too, Dijo. So you guys would probably be a little cold, a little chilled from the water. Dijo, you kind of feel like your have stopped, and the pendant doesn't feel as cold to you anymore.
Doesn't feel as cold to me.
Yeah, it's cool to the touch now.
I asked Mel what he thinks this is. Like, why is it so cold? Why is it
you feel as though the cold doesn't bother you anymore.
The Cold
Like
never bothered him anyway.
The cold doesn't bother me. That doesn't sound good.
I kind of like lean down. I'm just like, so it's abjuration magic. So it's some type of
okay.
protection. So maybe just mess around with it for a little while. Try to get used to it. See what it does. But all yours.
Is there anything I can like do with it, Ian? Or
So Mel could probably infer after spending some time with it that it's just a pendant that makes you resistant to cold temperatures. You can't succumb to cold.
ooh,
It doesn't affect cold damage, but you can't like. Basically, the cold weather will not affect you. You can't freeze to death anymore. It's impossible.
okay. Let me add this to my. What should I call it?
Silver pendant of warmth, I suppose.
Pendant of warmth.
So it's not resistance to cold damage.
It's not resistance to cold damage. It's resistant to the elements. Like he can't. Like you know how like he could be resistant to the deserts and the heat and exhaustion in the desert. It's the opposite of that. Like basically cold weather will never affect him in that way. He can't.
Okay, so I'm resistant to cold weather. Okay.
Yeah, you can't
It's
die
like-
from exposure.
Circlet from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
So after you guys spend some time here, you see, you start kind of gathering after that the speech and the history lesson. I don't know how many of you paid attention or not.
My ears definitely perked up upon hearing the Revenant part.
I don't know if Nork would be interested in the history of dragons or not, or his sword, but
If it has to do with anything like war or combat related, then he would definitely be interested.
yeah, she would have mentioned that they're probably the most formidable fighting force ever brought to Strahd, and that Strahd had to literally get him and his Lich Archmage, she mentions, to go and fight this dragon, and they won pretty handily, but it took all of Strahd's effort to take it down.
So whenever she starts talking about that, Norik definitely like she has his full attention.
So you guys get back on the road and travel probably another.
Hey, Ian.
Yes.
Before we leave, I want to go back to the body where I found the pendant.
Mhm.
I just want to see if I can like find out who this person is or anything.
It's a desiccated corpse. You know, there's really not a whole lot of skin left. What is there has been rotted away for the most part. Just bones. It looks to be human of some kind.
Okay, well,
I would like to mention that amongst the bodies there were 2 or 3 dragonborn bodies,
yeah.
but elves and human bones look the same. So same with half orcs. Really, any humanoid race looks relatively the same as long as they've got the same bone structure. But dragonborn would look distinctly different.
Okay, well, Dijo takes the pendant and then he just walks off with the rest of the party.
Okay. So you guys travel along the road probably about 10, 15 minutes or so. When you come across the sounds of music playing, you hear the sounds of a man and a woman singing together in Barovian, and they sound to be jolly and full of mirth.
That's unusual.
Seems like the first sign of like happiness and joy since we've entered Barovia.
Well, you should still be skeptical. Here, why don't DJ? Why don't you scout ahead, see what's up, and come back and report, okay?
Is his hair still lit up?
No, I felt like
It sounds a lot like those singing by Fleetwood Mac. I can't think of a more gypsy Fleetwood Mac. I mean, that's pretty on the nose, I think.
That's fair.
Yeah, Dijo kind of goes to, I guess, check him out without being seen.
Go ahead and give me a stealth check.
That is. Sorry. 19 total.
All right, yeah, you're pretty quiet. So you sneak up on these two. You see a man and a woman. There's a boat pulled up and moored on the side. One guy it looks like he's playing some kind of strange string instrument that's propped up between his legs, and he's plucking the bell bottom of it, and it's just like a long neck up at the top, and he's strumming up there as well. No, he's not strumming. Sorry, he's making the fingerings for the board. And the woman is singing, and she's got a tambourine in one hand, and she's banging it on her hip. The man is dressed in like a short cloth shirt with leather pauldrons on and fingerless gloves. And he's got long hair and a pointed beard, and his long hair is tied back into a single ponytail, and it's wavy and goes down his back. While the woman has black hair and looks to have like gorgeous blue eyes that you can see, because you have dark vision. You're a gnome, right?
Yeah.
You can see, it's low light, so you can see her pretty normally, pretty clearly.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're standing around a small fire they've built, and there's a fish kind of spit roasted or pegged on the fire. And you see that there's a pile, like maybe a couple handful more fish on barbs next to them, looks to be fully cooked already. The man is singing pretty decently. I rolled a performance check, and it was 19.
Oh wow! So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it's a pretty good little song. The man looks to be full of mirth, and you see that there's a little bottle next to him with XXX on it.
With XXX on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, typical cartoon fashion.
Antioxidants, man.
Yeah.
That's what it stands for.
Dijo wants to examine this from a distance.
The scene or the bottle?
The bottle.
It looks like alcohol.
Okay. Looks like alcohol. Probably
No,
smells like
it-
alcohol. Tastes like alcohol. Probably is alcohol.
I don't know how you could. It's gasoline. You're dead.
It's a bottle of moonshine.
The scene, pretty much. Do you go out to approach them, or you go return to the party?
I go return to the party.
Hey, you need to give Rachel tips on how to be a.
What does she do?
Walked in on a scene that was obviously a ridiculous fight, and a dragon comes out and confronts her, and she's like, "I'm gonna talk to it." Everyone just like the meme.
We don't talk about that.
It was the meme of what is the guy who just throws his hand up and he's like, "I guess." That one. So, Deidre returns back to the party and reports what he saw.
Yeah, they're having a good time over there. They have a bottle of XXX.
Oh.
The Vin Diesel movie. I don't know why Zarvdog knows about Vin Diesel, but I'm not going to question it.
So, what do you guys say?
I suggest to the party that we just either ignore them or we can talk to them if we want.
How close to the camp are we?
Irina would know that they fit the description for Vistani.
I was about to say, how close to the Vistani camp are we?
Maybe another 20-30 minutes at the moment.
Dijo asks Irina if these are in fact Vistani or whatever they are.
Well, to my knowledge, it sounds exactly like they are. So
should we go up and talk to them, or
wouldn't hurt.
well, you lead the way.
Okay.
Zarvdog very slowly pulls his hood up over his head.
Strahd almost did you a favor, made it to hide your tail either.
No response. Lots of
So-
swear words.
Do you guys attempt to sneak up on the camp or just approach it normally?
I think we
I
just
mean,
approach it
I think
all.
just walk
Yeah.
up.
Okay. So,
Jump in and go, hello there.
you guys get to the edge of this clearing, that they've set up, two small little tents and this little spit roast cooking the stuff. You see that the instrument is now sitting there by itself, playing by itself, and the tambourine is floating in the itself.
Fuck.
Would we like recognize them as bards, or should I roll a check for that?
I mean, I don't think there's anything I've said gets to bards.
What was that?
Okay, but so like normal people say too. They don't have to be bards.
Oh, okay. I
That's
see what you mean.
Not everyone went to school and studied magic to be a magical singer.
I look over to DJ and I go, "Are you sure you saw somebody here?"
Didn't we all see people over here?
I didn't see anything at all.
You heard the music.
Yeah, I heard music.
Oh
and
yeah, I swear to God, I saw some people over here. I mean,
nobody.
Roll perception checks.
What was that?
Roll perception checks.
Sion.
That's a big
23.
old nat 5.
Ooh, 15.
Mel rolled 22. Irene rolled a 13.
Okay.
I got a 9.
I rolled a 26.
Good for you.
So, those of you that roll 20, you see a woman stepping out of the water, completely unclothed, and she wrings her hair out. DJ, you see the woman that you. She kind of like starts to trace her way across the clearing. She looks over because you guys aren't making any attempt to hide yourselves, and she goes like, look away."
Mel immediately looks away.
I do a
just-
complete 180.
He just slowly turns around.
Slowly.
I'm also like just the quick 180.
No, Mel sees Dijo slowly turning around. He's just like,
Well, it's not like super slowly. It's just like kind of slow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
yeah, he's just
No,
like,
I almost trip over my feet from how fast I turn around.
yeah, but Mel,
Well, it's because DJ's just like, she was literally just over here. Like,
hey, look, Show some
Zarbdok
respect.
does not turn around. He goes, How are these instruments playing by themselves?"
That's not important right now.
So Davros, you turn around, and Mel, you turn around, and you see the man leaned up against a tree behind you guys, picking his teeth with a dagger, and he says, "Oh, you're studying magic." He kind of picks out some fish out of his mouth and kind of like takes it off the tip of the dagger, and he says, "So, are you
Is
here to
he-
rob us?"
Is he also naked?
No.
Oh, cool.
no, we're not here to rob you. In fact, seems like you got a nice campsite. Wondering if you might mind sharing it for the night.
You're making us sound real shady.
He
Just a
kinda-
friendly
he-
company.
Yeah, he looks at you and he says, "No, I'm not going to share my camp with you or my sisters, but what you can do is if you just follow the stream down, maybe another 20 minutes or so, you'll find the large camp there, and we've got some nice tents set up for strangers who come in and try to peeping Tom and my sister."
That's not what.
that's not at
Dude,
all
she
what
just-
we're trying to do.
Zarbdok turns around and, "What is this term, peeping Tom?"
Amnon,
It's a
Amnon,
figure of
shut
speech.
up.
We'll work it out later, Amnon.
Amnon, shut up. Look.
Amnon.
We didn't mean anything by it. Okay, we merely just kind of walked in. She got out of the river. It was a total mistake.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
We'll be on our way. Very
Yeah.
sorry.
He
We're
looks at you and
leaving,
says,
Ian.
he looks at you and says, "On second thought, you know what? I'll come with you. I just want to make sure you get there safe and sound."
Fair enough.
Okay.
All right.
Hey,
He spins the dagger in his chest.
And he what? You broke up.
He spins the dagger and holsters it on one of the sheaths in his chest.
okay. I thought you said he spins the dagger and then just puts it in his chest, and I was like, what?
That's also what I heard.
Painful.
Yes.
Norik's gonna kind of pipe up. He's been kind of quiet during this whole thing, and he's gonna say to you whether or not we make it to the camp safely.
He tilts his head to one side and says, "Fair enough. Mostly because we're not supposed to be out here, and if you, for whatever reason, show up at that camp and say that you caught us out here, well, that would be my ass. So I'm gonna pretend that I brought you guys in for questioning, huh?" And he does like the left. He kind of like motions his hands back and forth, left and right, going like, ah.
I'm gonna be like, we did walk on his sister. It's only fair that we help him with this.
Hear us out.
She was literally just walking out of the river.
DJ, I got this. We'll help you out if you help us out. Give us a good word.
He says, "Oh no! You're not prisoners. I'm just I've got a good feeling about you guys. Strangers popping out of the woods in the middle of the night in Barovia and not mugging me. That's a change of pace."
No. You said questioning, so I just assumed.
Zarbdok is walking away from the conversation to investigate the magic instruments.
Yeah, you see the woman step out of the camp and she looks at you and she says, "Oh, hello. What's wrong with your eyes?" She kind of like comes running up to you and she attempts to pull your hood back so she can look up at your face a little more.
What is wrong with your eyes?
She says, "Nothing, just two pupils and eyeballs and ooh, you have horns." As she reaches up and
I give her like this, like a weird look, but then I look back at the instruments, just kind of like investigating further.
It's all you care about at this.
Irina goes up to the guy, and she's like, "Look, we don't want to cause any trouble with you. I mean, I think we can make our way to the camp by ourselves." And
he looks at you and he says, "Nothing on you, but I would feel better if you not do that and let me come with you." He says, "Look, cards on the table. I'll be honest with you. We were not supposed to sneak at the camp tonight because there was a ritual going on. And I said, oh, my sister was sick, and we're gonna go rest and go to bed early and I'll watch her. But we wanted to come out here and get drunk."
Understandable.
What kind of ritual? I immediately turn around.
He says, "Oh, we're just doing a vocal history this evening. It's a ritual in which we tell Vistani lore and talk about one of the many things that our Lord and great Savior," he does air quotes, "Strahd, has done and accomplished in his lifetime." Open air quotes, lifetime.
Hey, Ian. I have
Yes.
a question. Is that alcohol bottle like around?
Yes.
Where's it at? Because DJ's thinking about just kind of taking it because they pissed him off.
It's over there by the woman.
Like next to her? Is she distracted or anything?
She's looking at Amnon's tail.
Yeah, she is.
He looks at you guys and he says, Look, seriously, all cards on the table. I just try not to get you in trouble, try not to get me in trouble."
You
He said,
certainly
"Look."
have a lot of cards to put on the table for you to keep saying that.
He says, "My name is Lazlo." Okay? There you go. He says, Lazlo. He says, "Lazlo Zelkin. That is my sister Claudia."
I'm gonna say like, I'm cool with you coming with us, but shouldn't you stay here with your sister, or is she gonna come with us too?
She looks up and she goes like, "Oh no, we're done." She turns and snaps her finger, and you see the camps roll up, and the instrument stops playing.
Aw.
The tambourine zips over to her hip and hooks under her belt, and you see the big instruments like sail over to the man, and he goes like, "I want to move." To DJ.
Wait, I move?
The instrument sails through standing, and he turns back.
Oh.
He
Okay.
chuckles and looks at you and ruffles your hair. Neat trick, by the way. How'd you get it to glow as he steps past you?
Wait, my hair?
Mm-hmm.
I dispelled his hair.
I look at my hair, I was like, it's glow?
So he looks at you guys and he says, Well, you're in good company now. You're amongst Vistani. We are infamous for our alcohol and, most importantly, our great senses of humor.
Seems like it.
He says, "You'll love my brother, Alexei. Nice guy. Dead. Nice guy."
You said dead? What?
He laughs and says, "He's not dead. He's just stiff. He thinks nothing is funny. So we like to call him dead because he sits in a room and he stares at everyone like he's a corpse. I don't get it. It's fine."
Can I like insight check that? See if there's anything sketchy going on there?
Sure.
18.
He's being pretty serious about that.
Wow, Adam, how dare you question this man?
No, I meant to see like if there's anything wrong with the brother. Like if there's.
Oh. No, you don't. Nothing strange.
Okay.
Alrighty. So do you guys follow him?
Yeah.
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 Go ahead and follow him.
Yeah, he dishes out the fish that he caught to you guys. He also eats one.
I mean, yeah, I'll eat some.
Just savors the fish. One
Or it
slow bite at a
swallows.
time.
Bones and all.
The whole thing.
Good boy.
Zarbdok is taking like the occasional bite, but is also asking Claudia a lot of questions about like the magic instruments.
She's like, "It's just an animate spell. It's really not that complicated. We just make the instruments dance for themselves while we go do something else." I felt like taking a dip. My brother was like, "I'm gonna go out and get some berries so that we can make some more wine." And when I came back, as any Vistani woman would do, we swam naked because guess what? We live short lives, and honestly, it's nice having about 50% of it unclothed.
You know what? That's fair.
She's like, "You'll love Vistani women. We look at you, we kiss you, the knife sometimes goes back. It really depends on the woman. Stay away from Lavina. She's not very nice."
Lavina?
Oh, Magda, she's not nice either. Alana, she is very aggressive. Really, really likes, I mean this really, really seriously, loves elderberry wine. Oh, and then Dorina, and you hear her brother go, "All right, Claudia, you're going on again."
Who
They-
loves
they don't-
elderberry wine?
they don't
who
care.
Who loves elderberry wine?
She says, "Oh, Alana."
Okay.
Dijo, I like to imagine Dijo's actually just taking notes in a notebook right now about all these women.
I know Zach is. Alrighty. So you guys start heading to the camp. Unfortunately, we're out of time for this episode.
Woo!
Darn.
So
Boo.
we'll catch you guys next week, and hopefully no one will die, unless it's Amnon. Then Zarbdok will completely take over the body.
I mean, if I die, it wouldn't hurt.
I love that Zarbdok has basically taken on the personality of like man from the past is now in the present.
What are these instruments? Alrighty, so we'll catch you guys next week. Thank you so much for listening.